Waiting for drizzle stank. Not that one. No. No. Oh, shit. All right.
Is it worth it? Choices I made, are they worth it? I look at the path I chose. Were there alternate roads? Many, but this is where I'm at. So I smile big with my backwards hat. Now it's time to decide, was it worth it? Damn, was it worth it? The lane I've taken, the minds I've encountered, the beauty I've seen in a world full of tribulation, the grass is still green. While I wait for the next step, I avoid falling in line. Find my own path, not one of design. Makes things more complicated. So when I ask myself, was it worth it? I couldn't even imagine better. What it seems, I'll stand tall for my goals and dreams. When the hard times come, there will be many. I'll just proceed with constructive deeds. Stay above the banter. To say this was worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it. Life is beautiful, so choose the right path. Set some goals to surpass the strife. Are you worth it? Please believe so. Search for happiness wherever you go. Love is around, easily found. Having trouble with your find? Here, have some of mine. It's a long day, just set some goals.
Good evening. Fearlessly Authentic present Drizzle's Tank. What do you know? You're not alone. Epilepsy is a terrible silent disease. Many of us have it. You are not alone. Tell me your story. Tell us all. Enjoy some conversations, some tunes, and some optimism. I am not a doctor, a nurse, a psychologist, a therapist. I probably cannot take your blood pressure properly. Why? Because I am not trained to. In order to come speak, you must, off screen, provide me with a real name and phone number. Your number will be verified via text. And trust, I'm not trying to save your number for after the fact. I got enough problems. I don't need yours every day, too. There must be someone standing there so I can see at least a hand. They have to say something to assure me you are not without help, just in case something happens. If you are alone, I do not want to exclude you. I must be provided with your address. It can be a video of you holding your mail and your ID, something confirming, it could be a brief video before the show starts. If there is an emergency, there is a delay. I will stop the feed and more than likely call an ambulance to avoid traumatizing others. If you try to commit suicide on my channel, I will end the feed before anyone is the wiser. Pretend you started having a seizure and move right the hell on while we call 911 near you and be on our undeserved of that way. So please, don't waste your time or your life. You're worth more than that. So, online groups are nice, but I'm here to lend an ear. I go through crap all the time. Nice having somebody. Not everybody does. And not everybody has somebody that will understand. So, join me. Bring me a water. Hello, I am Drizzle Stank, and this is Drizzle's Tank. And what do you know? You're not alone. Tonight, we are going to discuss different types of pharmaceuticals. There's a lot. There's a lot of them. Before we get into that, there's a couple things I'd like to discuss. One being a topic we're going to cover next week is going to be diet in relation to epilepsy. This is a point I'd like to make, though, that, something for people to think about this week. When you look at foods and medicines and different products, they say, allergies to glutens and whatever else. But I know there's certain foods that I eat that cause me to have seizures. Like if I eat fast food, you can almost guarantee that I will be having a seizure within a day or two, for sure. I'm not sure what it is about the products. I don't know. I can't verify anything. I don't know what the facts are about it. And the next week I'm going to try and figure out as much as I can. I mean, like always, I'm just a guy, and I want to know myself for my own good. So that's one of the topics. Hey, Laura, you come here for a moment. Well, one of the things I'd like to start with tonight is a song I've worked on. It's, pretty personal to me, only for the sheer fact that that is directly related to my epilepsy. I'm no professional. I'm just an amateur. I do this for fun. But this one truly meant a lot to me. And so I think even though it's it's not easy for everybody to understand. When I play it for somebody who has epilepsy, it's different. They can understand exactly what I'm trying to say. I think I'm gonna have to switch it up because I'm not finding it in here. I apologize for the delay. And so I'm going to bring this up. Make sure I'm playing the right one. No. Boom. Bam. Okay. One moment, calm and collected. Next enraged, fury ablaze. So unpredictable, amygdala. Fight to find a thought. Now distraught, lash out. Not this again. Start to feel confused. Vertigo sets in. Equilibrium shaky. Am I fainting? Life starts to feel about as real as a painting. Sweetie, is that you? Don't worry, baby, I'm right here, Drew. What just happened? Am I alright? You'll be just fine, but you gave your tongue a bite. There's blood, it ruined your new shirt. Don't worry, honey, some pre-treater will work. Now the questions, what's my name? What year was I born? Who is the president? Where were you this morning? Have trouble with them all? Who would have thought? Not me, obviously, my brain is now rot. Take a couple days to get back on track. Medicine wears off, I've got my mind back. Go to the park to skate off the pain. Muscle so cramped, I'm going insane. Land a few tricks, start to feel better. Begin to have thoughts about whether I can keep this up. Can my children count on me? Will I get to work again? Do the doctors really care? This really isn't fair. What the fuck is up with life? Realize it's not that bad. Many have it worse. Certainly not the only one this disease is cursed. I walk, talk, play with my kids, skate, bike, love to fish. Some can't tell who their loved one is. They can't do things like walk and eat, or get rap on beat. Take a stroll down the street, pet their little dog resting at their feet. Imagine picking up the phone, can't dial the numbers. What a bummer. Was it important? Maybe think of it again shortly. Wait, who was I gonna call? Uh-oh, feeling dizzy. I think I'm gonna fall. It takes a lot to make it through the day. The pain of having to abstain from everyday life. Every 5 minutes, counting on my wife. Where my keys, where my phone. Thankfully I'm not alone. Probably a goner if it wasn't for her care. So much for her to bear. It's the worst thing we share. But in sickness and in health, she and my boys, they are the wealth. Yo, I'm pre, inner, and postictal. Brain shutting down like I was hit with a missile. Confusion is an understatement. Need a plan for abatement. You got one? Currently, I just burn a lot of blunts. Get so high, I feel it for a month. What's that? You got the sticky? It's the number one thing keeping me from feeling sickly. Blaze it up, shut down my brain. From back to the front, I'm in the slow lane. Ooh, are that dab? Let me get some, head's feeling kinda bad. That don't stop me, still got the skills to spit this properly. Thank the Lord not to get this far.
Many battles fought, it's a lot, and I won't be stopped now. Approach adversity with a furrowed brow. Concentration a must to the top or bust. Much love to my wife until we turn to dust.
All right. So, I know I'm a little I'm a little coarse in some of the things I say and do, but realistically, that song started as a poem that just described how I was feeling one day. And I realize every time I listen to it, it helps me get through my emotions. It helps me think about things, put things into perspective, and say, even with all the negativity, all the problems that come with having epilepsy, I still have the potential to overcome, to use talents that I have, that I've earned through hard work in my life, to not let those go to waste just because of my affliction. There's so much potential in my life, and I would be shamed to let it go to waste. And so, one thing I'd like to make a point of on this show, it's not necessarily about coming on and just talking about your epilepsy or your problems or anything like that. This is also an opportunity. If you have some art, a poem, a song, something beautiful that, a piece of art that you'd want to show us, you are more than welcome to come and share it. That would be a dream for me to be able to allow other people to share their art. I mean, I don't know. I share my stuff along during the show only because I have the opportunity to. Uh, but this is also an opportunity for other people to get their art out, and who's going to appreciate it more than other epileptics and their families and friends, and So if you have something, bring it. Let's see what you got. So tonight we are going to discuss anti-epileptic drugs. Goes by AEDs. They call a lot of drugs AEDs, but they're in a group. They're anticonvulsants. They're a diverse group of pharmacological agents used in the treatment of epileptic seizures. Anticonvulsants are more accurately called anti-epileptic drugs, abbreviated AEDs, like I said, and are often referred to as anti-seizure drugs because they provide symptomatic treatment only and have not been demonstrated to alter the course of epilepsy. Keep that in your mind. The narrow spectrum AEDs mostly work for specific types of seizures, such as partial, focal, or absent myoclonic seizures. Broad spectrum AEDs additionally have some effectiveness for a variety of seizures. Some types of seizures are difficult to treat with any AED. So that's your basic breakdown. I got that off an epilepsy site. It's as broad of a definition as I could find, and broader the better, because then it allows me to really break it down in a much more broad spectrum. Oh goodness. So the problem with what I just read is it kind of brings me fear. because no matter how much the doctors say to me, here, take this medicine. This could be the one. It works for other people. Your type of epilepsy, yeah, your type. Which told me what type I have yet. 15 years, I have no clue. There's no cure. It's not a cure. It provides symptomatic treatment. They have not been demonstrated to alter the course of epilepsy. So it's not curing anything. Okay? 2, not knowing what type of epilepsy can make it way harder for the doctor to decide what is the best choice. One of these narrow or one of these broad spectrum cocktails that they got. Are you somebody that's going to need two kinds of medicines? They're going to have to try a couple different kinds and work them in succession with each other to get the desired result. I go into a lot of these support groups, and as I'm in there, I hear the same stories as mine. I've taken a lot of drugs. So have other people. Some people are taking, just levels, just the sheer amount that they're taking alone scares me to read. Because some of the ones I've had serious side effects. Like I almost died on a couple. Like not being hyperbolic. That's being serious. I got blood acidosis and my kidneys almost shut down on one. So I mean, it's scary.
To add to what you're saying, a lot of the medications have that stuff that you're talking about, the preservatives and stuff.
So one of the things that'll go along with the diet topic next week is a lot of these medicines have a lot of those artificial ingredients that are in foods. In some countries, they're already banned. America hasn't really come all the way up yet, but there's a lot of people, kind of like me, just out here going, well, what's the deal? We need to know what's in the foods that we eat to determine whether we could have a problem with our epilepsy, just as much as somebody that is allergic to a peanut or a gluten. I mean, an allergic reaction is great and all, but to be able to recognize prior to eating something. But I need to know whether something I eat might trigger my epilepsy. I mean, it makes consuming anything harder. Foods, medicines, anything. Top of that, the only way they can really determine what type of epilepsy that you have, there's a few ways. The EEG is like a test to monitor the electric sensitivity of the brain and thereby detect disorders, if any, using electrodes. I've had a slew of them. Ones where I go in for a couple hours and they sit there and flash lights in my eyes and play sounds and try and get me to fall asleep and do all these different things. And I've had ones where I've worn that cap for days, a week. I mean, I've worn it in the hospital. I've worn it at home. It's fun, real fun. It's a fun experience. At the hospital, I was recently in. They wanted me there for 7 days, and they wanted me to not move as an athlete. That wasn't going to work out very well. They ended up giving me the boot after about 3.5 days because I was like doing push-ups and sit-ups, and did run into the TV hanging on the wall. They weren't too impressed by that. But yeah, regardless, they did see a couple of things, a couple of bitemporal sharps that, things I didn't even know I was having, which could be what triggers my grand malls. It could be the start is those bitemporals as I'm sleeping. Most of my seizures happen at night. But that EEG, without that thing, I'd be even more in the dark. We'd have zero clue, and they'd just be throwing pills at nothing. They've seen me have grand malls. They've seen seizures in the front side of my brain, the back side of my brain, all from a machine. Just a monitor. It's kind of like a heart monitor, but on your head. And it's a really good thing that we have technology like that, because it's taught us so much about how the neurological system works, what signals what controls what's going where. When you do the EEGs, it allows you to know whether you have a very focused type of epilepsy, something that's very focused to one part of your brain, or maybe you have a generalized epilepsy that, like me, they never know. They can't really determine what my type of epilepsy is, surely because every time I go in and do a test, I have a different type of seizure somehow. And it's made it extremely hard for the doctors to determine, what type of medicine should we give this guy. We can't even tell what type of epilepsy he has. It changes constantly. I mean, that's got to be hard for a doctor. As much as I want to be upset that they haven't come up with something for me, I also have to have respect for the idea that these guys, they're trying. These men and women are trying everything they can to try and bring comfort to me and my family when their time allows. I know they're busy people. I'm pretty impatient, so I'm pretty tough to deal with in the first place. But at the same time, I do hold the doctors at these big hospitals to bigger standards. So when I do have all these tests done, and they say, oh, we still haven't figured anything out. Interesting. So then they try other tactics, like the MRI. MRI provides precise details of your body parts, especially soft tissues, with the help of magnetic fields and radio waves. I've had quite a few of these so far. And they're dangerous. They make me drink this contrasting fluid. What an awful experience. As soon as you drink it, it goes through all of you. But in me, they didn't even warn me I was going to gag. Didn't even warn me the first time. It was so bad. Oh, I hate that stuff. On top of that, I'm a contractor. I've been getting metal and chunks of stuff stuck in my body for years and years and years. And when we went for my last MRI, we told them, we said, oh no, the last MRI I was at, metal shot out of my eyes. They said, that couldn't have happened. I said, I promise you it happened. I said, they were very terrified. I like hurt my eyes and everything. Luckily it was in the sides though, and not in the front. So it didn't affect my vision at all. And everything healed up just fine. But that's one of those things. Those magnets are so strong that they sometimes have to give you an X-ray to make sure you don't have any debris stuck in your body, and that's something I had to do last time, which was pretty interesting. You don't know, you never know what to think of a situation like that until you hear the metal click against the side of the inside of the MRI machine, and it's just click click. Like, the hell was that? I'm looking up. I'm like, are my eyes bleeding? Are you kidding me right now? Like, what is happening? I touch my eyes and my eyes were bleeding. I'm like, could stuff have just shot out of my eyes, guys? They're like, is there metal debris in there? Like, I think so. I said, are you a contractor or something? I said, yeah. Oh, that was it. And he said, all right, well, just lay still. And I laid still for the rest of the experience. And boy, howdy, that was it. And so we learned. So this last time this year when I had one, once again, at least this time I was ready for that stupid contrast stuff. Bleh, immediately to start gagging. You gag with everything you've ever gagged before. And, but you want the experience, you need to know. That's how they determine whether there's something in your brain. That's how they know if there's a tumor. That's how they know whether there's an abnormality, whether there's lesions on your head, whether you've had some sort of injury or something that is possible to see. Because unfortunately, a lot of these injuries that they do see or that do exist, they can't see. A lot of these guys that play sports that get all these concussions and stuff, they have a lot of problems because they can't determine whether they have these brain damages until after they've died. And so now people are acting like it's oh, how dare they try and mellow out football, and try and make it easier on the quarterbacks. Like, well, yeah, that's easy for you to say because you don't have to be 50 years old and have dementia from having your head cracked into 25 times once a week. You have to observe what these people are going through later on in life. You look at some of these old athletes and you look at just their verbal skills. They can't even talk. You can't even talk. And I mean, that's unfortunately that's the outcome for a lot of the epileptics. We have seizure after seizure after seizure after seizure, and it starts to really damage the brain. You start to lose creativity. You start to lose memory. You start to lose sensitivity. It's terrifying, and they may not even be able to see it. They might not even know. They can do all those tests and still no idea. No idea. So they try all these tests, figure out what you have, if possible. Regardless, they just start throwing medicines at you. And there's a slew. Boy, oh boy, there are a lot. Last night we took a personal inventory of the different types of medicines that I've taken through the years. We couldn't remember a couple of them, so I think it was actually a couple more than what I see, but I have 11 listed. 3 of them almost killed me. Most of them didn't work. A couple of them worked, but stopped working after time. And I just kept having breakthrough seizure after breakthrough seizure. It didn't matter how much I took. I was taking. I've said it in the past. They wanted me to take 800 milligrams of Lamortigen 3 times a day, which is a hospital dose. I said, I'm not taking that once a day, guys. I said, that's not happening. I said I was already unhappy about about having to take 3 pills a day. I was like, that's more medicine than I ever want to take. I'm very weird. I don't even like taking Tylenol or aspirin or any of that stuff. And there's there's a lot of things that really make me nervous. Like I said, even that beginning statement brings me so much fear. Now, right now, I have a video here. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Maybe. Open hyperlink. There we go. Pause. So I'm gonna play a little video. This is a frequently asked questions video. Like I said, what brings me fear. This frequently asked questions video kind of brings me fear. Also brings me a little bit of contentment, but at the same time, I think it's a very important video, especially because the Mayo Clinic is where I possibly may be heading next for a vagus nerve stimulator. They determined that I have too broad of epilepsy for the regional nerve stimulator, responsive nerve stimulator. So I'm more likely to be looking at a vagus nerve stimulator, which now I've been very deep diving into that. And I'm sure in coming weeks, we'll do a very deep dive into just the vagus nerve stimulator and see, hopefully we can get some people on from some of the other support groups to talk about their experience with it. Nothing helps other epileptics that are still behind in the game than hearing these stories from other people. And it's one thing to go in and read a couple paragraphs in a forum or something, but for people to see your face and see your story and see your emotion while you talk about this, and really understand how you truly feel about your experience is very beneficial. So I really hope that if you know somebody with a vagus nerve stimulator that's not shy, you yourself fit the bill, please contact me in the next coming weeks and let's talk. Let's see what you have to offer, because I'm sure you have something. Everybody has something to offer. We all have something to offer. And so I want everybody to you see, I want everybody that can add something. Please do. So this here is, like I said, it's a frequently asked questions video. So it's only a couple minutes long, but I think the information that is in this video is very important, and she discusses it very well. So please take a few minutes, watch this video. It's not my video. I have no rights to this video. I'm not part of the Mayo Clinic. I don't have any monetary draws to them, nothing at all. This is just, I found the video to be informational. So I hope you do as well.
Epilepsy is a syndrome diagnosis. It's a symptom that describes brainwave abnormalities. There are underlying causes that needs to be evaluated. MRI of the brain to look for structural abnormality, EEG to look at characteristics of the brainwave activity so the physician can categorize which type or types of seizure the patient has. Then there are, in some children, genetic causes, neurometabolic causes, or autoimmune causes that can be looked at. A seizure action plan is a roadmap for nurses and teachers at school to help your child should a seizure happen at school. It includes information about what type of seizure, what your child's seizure looks like, and if there is any anti-seizure medication that should be used while the seizure is happening to shorten the seizures, or how to contact the family should prolonged seizures happen. So most seizures are brief. Depending on the patient, there are absence seizures that are 5 to 6 seconds. Other patients may have generalized tonic-clonic seizures, which last 2 to 3 minutes. And those short, brief seizures, although it may feel like a lifetime for parents, they do not cause negative impact on growth and development. However, we do have to worry about prolonged seizures that are greater than 5 minutes or multiple seizures, generalized tonic-clonic seizures more than 3 in an hour, in which case your doctor may talk to you about a seizure action plan. This depends on the seizure type. For the absence seizures, which are subtle staring, this depends on your observation of how often this is happening to your child. For those patients where it's not possible or practical to monitor all the time, it is helpful to ask and talk to your physician about EEG monitoring with video ongoing. This could be helpful for those subtle seizures that are less detectable by visual inspection. For those patients who have nocturnal seizures, where it's not practical to monitor consistently when everyone is asleep, video EEG monitoring can also be quite helpful in determining the seizure frequency. For those patients who have generalized tonic-clonic seizures, where there are convulsive movements, there are FDA-cleared devices, wearable devices that can detect these generalized tonic-clonic seizures based on movements. About a third of the patients with epilepsy can continue to have seizures despite appropriate treatment. In those patients, evaluation for surgery can be an option. Epilepsy surgery can be an option for those patients who have a focal epilepsy where a focus can be identified and safely removed. Epilepsy surgery is also an option for certain types of generalized epilepsy where disconnection.
I'm going to continue the video here, but I'd like to rewind that just a little bit. Where are we at? We're at 326. About right there. Let's see, 301. I'm going to restart this right here just because I guess it's just a couple seconds. Seizures that can't be controlled by medication. I find this part very important, and so I'm going to play this part again from here, and then we'll continue the video to the end. Here we go.
About a third of the patients with epilepsy can continue to have seizures despite appropriate treatment. In those patients, evaluation for surgery can be an option. Epilepsy surgery can be an option for those patients who have a focal epilepsy where a focus can be identified and safely removed. Epilepsy surgery is also an option for certain types of generalized epilepsy where disconnection surgery can be performed. First of all, be prepared with your questions when you come to your clinic visits. Come with your observation of the different seizure type or types that you've observed. Know what the duration of the seizures are and have a seizure calendar so that you and your physician and your care team can review the frequency of your seizures.
Okay. So now, that was only 4 minutes, but the amount of information that woman just provided was incredible. It was so well generalized. It was easy to understand. And for people that don't know much about epilepsy, I find that video could be very beneficial. So it should be in the guarantee this real quick. Yeah, this that link is in the description. Share it. Share it with people you know. I mean, maybe people that you know that are unfamiliar might be able to become familiar. This is a big problem, being a silent disease, being a silent affliction. Many people just don't understand. I mean, employers, coworkers, family members, people's relationships struggle. It can be very daunting for somebody to try and continue meaningful, beneficial relationships in their life when they have epilepsy, uh, due to many of those factors that lady spoke about. Sometimes people's brains have a spot that just doesn't work. And until they do enough EEG and MRI testing and all this and find out where that problem is, that person suffers. That person suffers. And then occasionally those people get to go and have a surgery, lobectomies and stuff like that, where they literally go in and they cut that piece of your brain out. And through time, even though it doesn't properly function the same way, your brain fills itself back and it regrows. It's like other parts of your body. It fills in. It like does what it's supposed to. Your body knows what it's supposed to do. And those people never have seizures again. That's not the same as taking a medication. And only 1/3, and that's what she said, 1/3 of the people that get treated properly, still have epileptic episodes. They're still having issues. It's not a maybe thing. It's not a maybe thing. They still have episodes. I've spent 15 years trying different medications, trying to find the one for me, the two for me, the combination. Well, now we've all got into the brain surgeries and the devices and stuff like this. It's a long battle. It's a long battle. And luckily, I'm not willing to give up on really anything. When there's something that I need to accomplish, there's a goal I need to accomplish, I'm good for staying with it. Unfortunately, not everybody is. Not everybody has my drive. Not everybody has the wisdom and the background and stuff that I do. And I have to make sure I stay humble. I don't want that to be an ego thing, but at the same time, I have to remember, take advantage of the benefits that you were blessed with. Take the time to accept all the things that you were blessed with and make them useful to my life. Not everybody has that. Not everybody has that ability. So they just take any pill they hand them. Hey, I don't know if there's another option. I've suffered so much. What do you got? I'll take anything. Will it help? Please, anything. I'm desperate. I see it in the forums. Desperation. People are terrified. They just want something. Some sort of relief. And they try and try and try to find it and spend years. And then they fight insurance companies and disability and, this one works, but they'll only let me have the generic, which doesn't, because it has different additives and ingredients in it that, change it just enough to not work right. And I'm not saying that like it's not true, like they don't know that. Go to drugs.com and it says it right on there. Sometimes you have to go back to your doctor and tell them, hey, the generic isn't working, and your doctor has to sign something out saying, hey, this person has to have the good brand, or else they're not, it doesn't work for them. And that's the only way that they'll give you the one that works. Your insurance is like, if the doctor doesn't do that, sorry about it. Deal with it. Good luck. Nice. Real nice. I mean, I'm, you know, I'm a kind of a liberal turd, and I really believe everybody should just get health care. We're a wealthy enough country. There's enough other countries in the world that they just make sure their people are healthy. I mean, why do we fight diseases and sicknesses all the time when we have top-notch medical facilities and all this stuff, the ability to train? We have the top training facilities, well, why do we hold ourselves back? Why do we hold ourselves back? People don't have to agree with me. I don't know. And people go, yeah, socialist. No, I just believe our country would be in a lot better shape if people were healthier, and and the foods and the medicines and all the things that we get weren't full of artificial bullshit that truly affect us more than the things that they tell us are hurting us. I mean, these things are poisons. Some of these things are poisons. There's no other way to put it. Some of these chemicals that are in these drugs are banned in other countries. Banned. Like, you can't use them in anything because they're poison. Here we are. Here you go. Good luck. That's scary. That's scary. Then there's other drugs that are so controversial. I mean, realistically, who hasn't heard that cannabis helps with epilepsy? Who doesn't know that rumor? The thing is, it's not really a rumor. Out of all the things that I've found through time, anybody can say I'm wrong or lying or whatever. You can say whatever. It's just my personal experience. When I use certain strains, not all of them, it's not every kind just is a magic potion. No, very specific strains. I'll have an aura and I'll use a very specific strain, or gone. Gone. Not kind of gone. Not, hopefully it doesn't come back. Gone. Now I'm just back to normal me. It's worked for years. The mix of that, not drinking, and eating a nice all-natural diet, nice paleo diet where I eat nice clean meats and vegetables and fruits and avoid breads and rices and noodles and all that stuff that don't really do much but fill you up. And it's helped amazingly. Very rarely. I mean, very rare do I start to have episodes. And recently I had a sporotrichosis outbreak. I took antifungal medicines for a couple weeks. Took almost 2 weeks for the medicines to come out of my system. That was about a week ago. I haven't had a seizure in over a week. Back to eating clean, making sure I always eat clean, doing everything I'm supposed to, and my fungus has calmed down, my fungal skin disease. It's sphagnum moss disease. I got it from pressure washing a house. I scraped myself with barberry. The sphagnum moss got in me. I was drinking heavily and had hurt liver at the time from taking AEDs. My liver was in terrible shape. And so I got a skin disease, a fungal skin disease, because of medicine and alcohol. Not just alcohol. It wasn't just the alcohol. It was the medicines. They're messing my enzymes up. And then I was just topping it off with some booze. Smart. Taking AEDs and drinking. Brilliant.
You were?
If you're still on that train, you should probably jump off it. It's not safe. It's not safe. And alcohol is terrible for you anyway. Your vagus nerve is connected to your stomach, and your stomach absorbs all that alcohol and sends it to the rest of your body. It's not good. It's not good. You're messing your body up. You're messing your brain up. You're messing up your nervous system. It's bad. Avoid it. Once again, I'm just a guy. It's just my opinion. You can take it or not. I'm no doctor. There's nothing that I'm saying that I can verify with medical information that I've written myself. But I can tell you, it'll make a big, big, big difference in your life if you can just get that alcohol out of there, especially if you're taking these medicines, because they're not made to work together. Almost all of them, right in the pamphlets that you get from the CVS, from Walgreens, from whoever your pharmacy is. It says it right in it. Do not take with alcohol. I mean, some of these drugs say don't take with juice. There was one my wife just got a couple days ago, and it literally says don't drink with juice.
A lot of medications.
Yeah, and that's not just that one. That's a lot. There can be side effects just from the correlation of very simple things that you, unless you took the time to read that pamphlet, you ain't even gonna know. That you drink a glass of apple juice, now that pill's worthless. And all you get is the side effects. Read your pamphlets. Read your pamphlets. Now, there are drugs, like I said, like cannabis. CBD has been huge recently. It's become something you can get at gas stations. The ones at the gas station are basically a gummy bear with some CBD oil in it. The ones that you get from the doctor are like a dropper. Epidiolex is one that's been out for a short time. Laura, what's the disease that they use it for, that it's been approved for, that kids look it up real quick, would you? It's really, with a lot of the medical research, it goes in their time. It goes in its time, and it takes time. It takes years. Like the vaccines that they put out real quick recently, that's not how the process ever works. That's not how that works. You don't just shove stuff out there and say, yeah, it's safe. You don't know. You don't know. It takes years, and you have to have a diverse pack of people with different backgrounds, different health issues, different what do they call that when you have like two different types of illnesses or whatever, comorbidities and such, you know. The more that they see, the more that they learn, the more that they can determine whether it helps. Epidiolex has, I've seen ups and downs in these support groups. I see people, because it's very hard to get. Even if you do thorough, geez, I cannot think of it. My brain is just, of course, I'm blanking. But the disease that has been approved, it's mostly been for kids, and then they've determined, kids' bodies can't process the CBD properly, and it messes up their enzymes, and so they don't want pregnant women taking it. Apparently, it can cause problems to the unborn child. A lot of the medicines are like that. They really.
Dravet syndrome.
What is it?
Dravet.
No,
Lennox gastric syndrome.
Lennox gastric. Yeah, that was one of the big ones.
Lennox Gastaut.
Gothro, or I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Let me look at it again. I'll remember if I'm looking at it. Lennox. Spell it.
LENNOX/GASTAUT.
Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. That seems to be the one that has been given the most approval. Jazz Pharmaceuticals is the company that produces it. Currently,
They're out of Italy.
They're out of Italy. They currently do. They're doing a lot of studies. They're doing studies, and like we had discussed last week, a way to get free medical treatment is to look into these clinical trials. Currently, I was researching around and found that Jazz Pharmaceuticals currently is doing a research study out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's not only for LGS. Who are they testing it in again?
Refractory, I believe.
Refractory.
So you would fall into that category.
Yeah, refractory epilepsy.
And you don't have a device, and that was one of the exclusion criteria.
Yeah.
If you had a device, you couldn't be in the study.
Okay, so if you have refractory epilepsy, reach out to these guys.
There's studies going on all over the U.S. right now for different types of epilepsy with the use of Epidiolex.
And it would be a shame to miss out on that, especially if you're having troubles with income. I know we are.
Yeah, the cool thing about trials is like they'll give you a credit card, and then if you have to travel to the site, like any sort of miles, they'll make sure that you're compensated for your gas, your mileage, and if you don't have a car, typically they'll set up transportation for you. Like especially people with epilepsy, they're not going to make you drive or get on a bus, so they'll set up some sort of transportation. They'll give you a credit card and give you money. And every time you comply with the study and you do all of your study activities, they keep handing you money and giving you free medication and free healthcare. So it's actually a pretty cool thing if you think of it like that.
So, Epidiolex. Definitely. I've heard so much good and bad. There's a lady that I saw in one of the support groups just last week who said she wasn't going to be able to get her medicine until Monday. They were making it a real pain in the ass for her. But she said she went from having grand mal all the time, and she has Lennox-Gastaut. But she's an adult, and they've been prescribing it to younger people, but she's an adult, and she had it. She says she was having grand mal constantly. Now she gets hours of relief. Every day, she gets hours of relief when she takes that. So why are they only trying it on one? Well, they're not. That's the thing, is media is behind on what's happening. in medical research. Medical research is happening. It's been happening. The problem is for some reason, reefer madness from the 1930s or 40s, whenever it was, still determines how people think, and the illogical irrationality of people to still follow these stereotypes of just madness. It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, did you see the look on the pharmacist's face yesterday when you told him that you smoked marijuana?
Yeah, he like, oh,
don't tell me that.
Oh no. Like, dude, I don't care. It's funny because when I first started going into my doctor's office, they'd be like, do you use any marijuana? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I have a medical marijuana license in other states. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you have a license? Like, yeah.
So taboo.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's not that big of a deal elsewhere. It's only because you guys live on another fucking planet. It's weird. It's very weird. But now, and what was also funny about that is when I would go in, like I'd hurt myself, they'd be like, well, do you need medicine? Do you need pills? Not really. I said, I don't really take that shit. They'd try to give me like Vicodin or something like that. But then they would second guess themselves. Oh no, look at his chart. He smokes marijuana. We may not want to give him any drugs or something. Be like any opiates and opioids and stuff. I'm like, guys, I don't want them. You can keep them. I don't want them. If I get too hurt, I'll suck it up and take an ibuprofen. Like, usually I just deal with pain. I always have. It's the easiest way to go about it, because if you keep covering the pain up, eventually you have to feel it. You're gonna feel it eventually, and if not, you're just gonna screw up your body by taking pills. And I don't need that either. My body's already screwed up enough from everything else.
Think about your mom. She's taken antacids for what, the past 30
years, and now her stomach's worse than it was. It didn't help her. It covered up the symptoms for 30 fucking years, and now she suffers.
Now she doesn't take it anymore. Now she just deals with the acid reflux, from what I understand. But I don't know. That stuff's scary, the acid medications, because it causes esophageal cancer and stomach cancer and stuff, because you stop the acid from producing naturally, so then it starts trying to produce it more. It's backwards.
Okay, so I'm going to open that link. That one can go. Okay, so this was, okay, yep. So the next part of that I want to cover is the CBD in general. There is a lot more research than what's given credit for. And as I was going through the last couple days, just researching and just making sure I had my thoughts in order as best as I could, I went through PubMed, NCBI, the NLM, NIH government site. Their most recent update was in 2018. So, I mean, I'm sure there's more information that they have. And if I dug a little further, they probably have a more up-to-date article. And this one has a little bit of jargon. And I'm going to read this quick abstract for what this one is. But I also have put the link to that in the description. So if you are interested in, I mean, it's a lot. It's 30 some pages. There's a lot of information, but it's very good information. Took me a little while to read it. And when I first started reading, I'm like, oh man, I ain't gonna read all this shit. I read it. So let me see here. Pull this bad boy up. Bang. So there we are. So this is the site. This is the link that's in the description. PubMed.gov. very trustworthy source. It's one of the ones that you can look at and know that what you're reading is going to be good information. And so I'm just going to read this this part that I have. It's right here, the recent findings. So I'm going to read this out real quick, just so you don't have to. So, recent findings. While the anticonvulsant mechanism of action of CBD has not been entirely elucidated, we discussed the most recent data available, including its low affinity for the endocannabinoid receptors and possible indirect modulation of these receptors via blocking the breakdown of anandamide. Additional targets include activation of the transient receptor potential. Transient receptor potential of vilanoid type 1 or TRPV1, antagonist action at GPR55, targeting of abnormal sodium channels, blocking of T-type calcium channels, modulation of adenosine receptors, modulation of voltage-dependent anion selective channel protein, VDAC1s, and modulation of tumor necrosis factor alpha release. We also discussed the most recent studies of various artisanal CBD products conducted in patients with epilepsy in the US and internationally. While a high percentage of the patients in these studies reported improvement in seizures, these studies were either retrospective or conducted via survey. I'll explain what that means a little bit more in a second. Dosage preparation of CBD was either unknown or controlled in the majority of these studies. Finally, we present data from both open label, expanded access programs, and randomized placebo-controlled trials of highly purified oral preparation of CBD, which was recently approved by the FDA in the treatment of epilepsy. So, that essentially is where it says, while a high percentage of the patients in these studies reported improvement in seizures, the studies were either retrospective or conducted via survey. So it wasn't like these people were going in and taking or going in doing clinical trials in a clinic. They were people that they sent out a survey and people said, oh yeah, I did that. And they filled out the survey to the best of their ability and they took the information. So, I mean, it's not medically based stuff in a lot of the sense, but it's almost like they're doing that intentionally. It's almost as if they learn, then they have to admit that they were wrong. Now, I know there are some issues with liver enzymes and different memory issues. There were some heart issues I know I read about, but the side effects on some of these CBD products are so much less severe than even the most basic side effects on some of these other medicines. I mean, it's not perfect. And I worry about when it comes to any pharmaceutical, like, well, what else did they put in there? Is there something else in there that's causing these problems? Is it more than just the CBD that's causing the side effects? Like, what's actually causing the side effects? And I looked and looked and looked. I didn't find anything. So I called Jazz. I have not heard back yet. I'm hoping to hear back by Monday. I just called and left a very straightforward message. Hey, I do a podcast. I was very curious about why it's so hard for people to get Epidiolex and just trying to get some more general information. If you could give me a call back, I'm an epileptic who has tried a million different drugs and just curious whether this one might be one that might work for me. And maybe they get back to me. Maybe they do. And I'll have a conversation with them. And I hope to allow everybody to hear how that conversation goes. Because if they are courteous enough to get back to me and give me some good information, I'll be more than happy to share that with everybody. because my ignorance, when it's been solved, I want that to be for everybody. Everybody should be educated. Everybody. So I'll bring that information as soon as I have it. As soon as I have it. At this point, I'd like to talk about the different drugs that I have used myself personally. What is the drizzle used? When I first had seizures, I was living in California. I was in college. I had never had one that I knew of. Now, in hindsight, I'm pretty sure I was having them. I just kept thinking it was a hangover because I was drinking in college. And they gave me Dilantin. And after they gave it to me and couldn't find anything wrong that Dilantin usually solves, they said, you shouldn't be taking this. This might have made you worse. Made me worse? Huh? Yeah. Apparently, if you take certain medications and you don't have epilepsy, it can give you different types of epilepsy. It can change your epilepsy. It can change your entire body, your entire physics. So then I switched over to a drug called Keppra. Well, I'm bipolar. I have explosive personality disorder. I'm ADHD. That went bad. Bad. I became very violent, very angry, very mean. It was insane. I got stuck on the bad side of my bipolar. That one had to go quick. So then I used this one that started with a C. I can't even remember it. I cannot remember the name of it. I took it for a little bit of time and it just messed up my digestive tract so bad. I was like, guys, I can't take this. It's really messing me up. I've been taking it for weeks and it hasn't stopped. Like I got to stop. And I don't even know. I haven't had a seizure, but I don't know if that's because I wasn't having a seizure or just because I just wasn't having any at the time. So then they moved me over to Lamortigen. Mm-hmm. And I took that for a while. And then they were like, oh, you're going to have to take the generic. So then they switched me over to Lamictal. And I took that for a while. And as I was taking these, they kept up in the dose. Up in the dose. I'd have a seizure and they'd be like, oh, must not be enough. Up the dose. When I was taking Lamortigen, it seemed like it was working. Even though I was taking a very low dose because I told them I hated taking meds. But then when they switched me over to Lamictal, I kept having breakthrough seizures.
I'm wondering if it was because of the generic.
And we've wondered this whole time. And maybe if they had just switched me back to the regular one, maybe it would have worked.
Sometimes people do have a reaction, even though they're supposed to be compatible.
If you're going to talk, you should come over here so they can hear you.
I figured this one's pretty echoey.
Yeah. So I took that for a while. And it worked for a while until it didn't. And so I told the doctor, I said, guys, I'm done taking medicine in general. Instead of going on to hospital dose, I'm done. That was when I weaned myself off of AEDs. Biggest no-no there is. Like, do you really think you should be going off of meds? No, not at all. Not at all. But I did. And I didn't have a seizure for 5 years. I didn't drink. I didn't eat garbage. I took care of myself. I lost so much weight. And I was healthy. I didn't have any seizures. And I thought I just broke it. Broke the code. Thought I had it. And things just went sour. Fast. Bad. Went real bad. So they started giving me emergency meds. Ativan, clonazepam, Klonopin, and Ativan. diazepam. I guess they did give me gabapentin in there, Neurontin. I didn't like Neurontin. That was one of the ones I took before Lamortigen too. But they started giving me the emergency drugs because I wouldn't take drugs before. But they had to give me something if I was having too many seizures. So
I begged them.
I
begged them at the hospital the day that you were in, when you were in a seizure cycle, when you had like 3 seizures in one day, and I went into the hospital. I was like, what do I do if he has another seizure? Like, is there anything I can give him? Because at that point they hadn't explained anything to us about what there was for emergency situations. And so it was my own asking and prying at the hospital that day when the guy finally decided to prescribe you the Ativan, the repository of Ativan, and that's where it all started. Because if without that, I don't know where we would be right now.
For real.
Like,
It really, I mean,
you have to push people.
We had to fight. And then recently we found out that there's a spray that's been around for a couple freaking years now that they can spray up your nose.
It's been less than a year, I think.
Nah, it's been around.
No.
It goes up your nose instead of up your butt. Would have been nice if they would have just told me about that right when it came out. Would have been real nice instead of my wife having to shove Ativan up my ass. It's fun. I took all of them. I still have Klonopin here. I still have Ativan here. I got bottles of Depakote that I never took because they tried to give me Depakote and Xcopri lately. Both of them had every one of the side effects. Everyone immediately. The Xcopri, I mean, it was scary how fast I had the side effects. They're like, after one pill. Like, yeah, I keep telling you, I'm allergic to everything, bro. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you anymore. I'm allergic to stuff. I'm allergic to everything. You can't just disbelieve me. So I think right now, I want to try and keep the mood nice. Let's try and keep the mood nice. So I've got a song pulled up. Before we go into side effects, this is a song by one of the regulars over on the Fearless Network. He's part of our group, Stever and crew on Band Lab. His name is Gore, and he's a cool ass son of a bitch. And he's got a very unique style of music that's completely different than mine. And one day he uploaded something so beautiful, and I kind of just took the liberty to play with it. And luckily he liked it too. I was like, bro, you're going to be the coolest guy at the Ren Fair for sure. So I'm going to play this song for you. I hope you guys like it. I love that song. I don't know. It's so simple, and it's just so pretty. He did such a great job on it that I tried to keep it as simple as possible to make it kind of hip hoppy. I didn't want to overdo it as much as possible. So I'm glad that it came out the way that it did. So I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well. It was a really fun project to work on. As you can see, it makes me smile even just listening to it. I don't know. I know I'm corny. Really, I make music that I want to listen to. I don't care if anybody else likes it. I'm happy just making something new, making new art, and just having fun with my friends. I've got my buddy Stever here at the Fearless Network. He's been a blast playing with the last few months. We got all kinds of goofy stuff going. Made ourselves a new rivalry today, a new rivalry. So looking for that, and I've been making a lot of rap songs and stuff lately. So probably going to start trying to do some more of my more silly stuff. I like making parodies. I like rewriting the lyrics to old songs. I like making up new songs and just being silly. Uh, you know, recording candid conversations and and then put a beat to them. Just goofy stuff. We like to have fun, and I really do hope that if anybody does look at this week and sees what it is that we're doing, that if they've got some art or something, that they too bring it, because I mean we are more than happy here at the network to be part of anybody's art. Saturday nights, Steve does the online open mic, and sometimes even once or twice a week he'll do a live performance where he'll just sit there and rock out for hours and keep a bunch of us weirdos entertained. So come be one of the weirdos. Tonight, after this episode, is Lucky will be doing her show here on YouTube and also on Rumble. So if you have some more time after this, take a moment and click on over there and be part of that. Always a lot of good people in the chat, and we have good conversations, and it can be real entertaining. And we also get to play around with peaches and have some fun with peaches. So definitely take part in that. But like I said, yeah, like the Saturday night thing, it's an open mic. You got a joke, you got a song, you got a picture, you got a monologue, whatever you got. We do it for fun. We do it for fun, and this last week was a blast. We were belly laughing, a lot of it. I bombed on my karaoke song. I got nervous and sang like crap, but that's okay. It's okay. I'll make up for it next week. Good thing it's just karaoke. Ain't nobody expecting much out of me. So with that, let's get back on topic for now. AEDs, lots of side effects. Lots of side effects. Unfortunately, I seem to be just overwhelmed with all of them. It doesn't matter which pill it is that I take. I just, God, that like,
One way or another, you find one.
yeah,
side
like
effect.
one of the side effects is I'm the guy. I'm who they put in those pamphlets. So every time we get a medicine, I go, "Are you sure this is gonna be okay for me, doc?" Yeah, give it a shot. This one's a different type of chemical compound than that other one you took. So try this one. And I try that one, and boy, howdy, that one doesn't work either. Originally, when you're refractal, it makes things really tough, especially when you're refractal and allergic to everything. I mean, it truly makes eating hard. It makes taking medicines hard. I mean, fabric softener. We can't use fabric softener. Haven't been able to use fabric softener for years because as soon as you put it on my skin, I break out in hives.
Fabric softener is terrible. Nobody should use it.
Yeah,
It's like toxic.
Even most of the soaps and stuff are. There's so many things in these products that we use every day that, you know, like I was saying at the beginning, there should be not only side effect warnings on these medications, but they need to be on our foods, on our products, on everything that we use, colognes and all that, or they have to take that shit out. It's one or the other. It can't be both. They either have to warn us as epileptics, just like they do in the medical pamphlets. They either need to let us know on these products whether there's something in there that affects epileptics, or they need to take it out. One or the other. Because this isn't fair. This isn't fair. I'm not okay with this. This is a topic me and my wife have been bringing up a lot lately. And this is a topic that I don't really hear anybody else talking about. This is something that's been very personal to me for months, where I look at this stuff and I say, why the hell can this product, this food have this in it and it not say careful for epileptics? Because I know some of it from changing my diet and looking at the different things that I took out. Because basically, if the food says what preservative, artificial, mechanically,
Even natural. Even things that say natural.
when it says all natural, like all natural, what bullshit? Like
Yes.
these things are not.
They hide certain chemicals under blanket terms like all natural.
It's it. Like, oh, this is fruit cocktail, and it's
Like
like
sodium benzate, that shit that comes from Texas, the white stuff.
no, that's titanium dioxide.
Oh.
Yeah, no, titanium dioxide is just this white stuff that some guy found on his property in Texas.
But it's all natural, so they can label it as all natural.
It's all
ingredient,
natural.
and then they can just put it.
It's an all natural dye that turns things white. Is it all natural though? Who knows? Because in other countries it's not legal. It's like one of those products that they only use here. It's very odd, very, very odd that we worry so much about the colors of things, because the food coloring gives me seizures. Like, I have problems with food coloring. People don't understand it has alcohol. It's alcohol. I'm allergic to alcohol. We went and ate soup at a restaurant recently, and they come out and they had poured sherry on the whole thing. I said, guys, I can't eat this. I'm epileptic. This could trigger me. And what happened? They bring it back out, just stirred it in, brought it back out to me. And when I started eating, I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm still eating the sherry. Thanks, assholes.
Yeah, that was
Like, people don't take this shit serious.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
They don't take it serious. They don't take this disease serious, and it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that we have to have this affliction, and it'd be so obvious to us, but the people around us, it's our employers, like
Even
people, doctors and employers. I'm really into, like, I look in the forums, and the employers or people are like, yeah, I got dizzy at work, and so they fired me. What? It's against the law. But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time.
You become a liability for an
Yeah,
employer, and they boot you immediately.
Yeah, when you become a liability, they find
So
any
you
reason to
you can't perform the duties to you can't do the duties to perform the job or whatever, and so they boot you.
Yeah, I mean, that's truly what happens. So I'd like to present right now. This is from the Epilepsy Foundation, and I'm going to read it word for word. Just why? Because I'm not a doctor, and I don't write these reports. I don't do this for a living until now. So I'm going to read this word for word, just so everybody can hear it. Maybe some people have trouble reading. There are a lot of dyslexic people out there that would much rather hear somebody read information like this to them. So allow me. All medication, including AEDs, can potentially cause side effects. These vary from medication to medication and from person to person. When it comes to AEDs, any side effects are generally more noticeable when it is being taken for the first time or when the dose is increased. How long the side effects last also depends on the person. Some people won't experience AED side effects at all. Generally, doctors introduce AEDs slowly and gradually increase dosage levels over days or weeks until you reach the desired maintenance level. This gives you and your doctor time to monitor how the AED is working for you, ideally reaching a level where your seizures are eliminated or reduced with minimal side effects. When starting an AED or having an increase in dosage, it's a good idea to write down any changes you notice, including changes to seizure activity and side effects. You can then chat about this with your doctor so that they can assess the effectiveness and suitability of the AED for you. It's important to remember that you should never stop taking an AED without speaking to your doctor first, as suddenly stopping AEDs can cause seizures. Also, you should never take extra AED doses unless your doctor approves this, as it can be dangerous and worsen side effects. Information about medication side effects is included in the Consumer Medicine Information, the CMI, which can be found inside the medication package. Every medication has it. Every medication has the CMI index right up. You can also ask your pharmacist for a copy. Hey, Laura. Never mind. The CMI includes plain English information about the medication and any potential common or rare side effects. The list of side effects can be off-putting, but it is important to remember that just because they are listed doesn't mean you will necessarily experience any or all of them. Can you go grab one of those little those fold-out pamphlets from off the table in there?
Yeah.
Just grab any of them. It doesn't matter. They are all the same in that sense. So, what they're talking about in the CMI are Make sure I'm looking at myself. These things here. These come with all the medicine. Every time you get medicine, you get one of these. And let me guess how many of you actually read them. Does that look like something you'd read the whole thing? Oh, wait. It's front and back. There's a lot of information. And it's very small writing. It's no joke. There's a lot of information on here. This one's about Dilantin. What, you think I'm going to read this entire thing? I can't. It would take me the whole 2 hours.
Is it important for you to read it?
Is it important, though? You betcha. Are you taking these medicines? Are you partaking? Have you ever read this? When did you start being prescribed your medicine? How many years ago? Do you remember this? Do you know if it's changed since you started taking it? Have you looked into any new medical research into the medicines that you are taking? Probably not. Probably not. You probably just trust these medical professionals who knows if they've kept up on this stuff. We went yesterday and tried to talk to a pharmacist. I knew more than him.
He had never even heard of Epidiolex.
He had never even heard of Epidiolex. Had never even heard of it.
So I don't know what
The
that
pharmacist.
I don't know if he was just being
coy or like
because he was trying to avoid you. He seemed like he wasn't trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, he didn't seem, but he didn't seem like he knew.
Yeah, he said he didn't know.
He said it. Yeah, he said it.
It's like I never heard of that.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. That's insane to me. The pharmacist had no idea. How's he supposed to know about the side effects of different drugs? He doesn't even know about the drugs. And he's the pharmacist? That's scary. So your doctor can just send over wherever the fuck he wants, and pharmacist just goes, here you go, brother. Good luck. Hope you don't got those side effects in that tiny little print that you can barely read. Because I do. I get those side effects a lot. So let's continue. Common side effects. Some commonly reported AED side effects include drowsiness, irritability, mood change, weight gain or loss, dizziness, sleep disturbance, nausea, blurred vision, hair loss. Damn them, those bastards.
Well, we're gonna sue just for that.
Yeah, well, I'm suing. That's the type of world we live in. Swollen gums and shaking hands. Some of the more serious side effects. Some people may also be sensitive to a particular medication or experience an allergic reaction. While this is very rare, it is important to seek immediate medical advice if you suddenly develop a rash, as this can be very serious. Well, guess what? I'm the rash guy. I'm the guy who gets the rash. Fast. Excopri the other day. Oh boy, took the low dose and bam.
Yeah, you looked like you were about to die.
It looked like I was going to die. It was scary. Fast. And it took the entire full 24 hours of that medicine because it's time release or something. Took that whole time for my body.
That's when you had that Grand Mal was upstairs the next day.
Yeah, I had a Grand Mal on it the very next day when it was supposed to be helping me.
Needless to say, okay, I will put a disclaimer there. You're supposed to have it build up.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time.
Those types of medications, they have to be called titrated, which means that they tier them up at levels. Like they start you at a low dose and they basically ramp up your dose until it's into your body and you're at a stable level, and they check your levels and make sure you've got the right amount of medication. But even so, why would you immediately start having seizures? You hadn't been having seizures prior.
I didn't even have a seizure leading up to it. They gave me that medicine. All of a sudden I started having seizures and had a rash. And I mean, that was wild. It went the complete other direction. And the doctor thought I was like shitting them or something. Like, but I'm not. Why would I make this up? Why would I lie about my own health What would that do for me? So I keep my personal inventory, my personal index, so that when I go and see them, I can tell them about. I mean, that's what it says. Even that lady in that video that I showed earlier from the Mayo Clinic says, take an inventory, write down what happens, take a diary, take a calendar of when things happen, so that when you go to your doctor, you can explain to them exactly what happens. So we do that, and they tell me I'm lying. They act like I'm bullshitting them.
Yeah.
It's insane. I feel like I'm fighting my doctor. Like, are you really disagreeing? Why would I lie? What would I gain? What would I gain?
You need a real doctor who's really going to be on your side and listen to you.
Yeah, you need not just a doctor, you need a medical team. That's what's nice about those medical research things, because you get a team of people, and they're very focused on making sure that you get the results they're hoping for. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you healthy. They don't want to see you fail. That's why they're doing the study, to make sure that, hey, if this will work for these people, let's figure it out, and then we can give it to them next time. Cognitive and learning side effects. Sometimes AEDs can affect a person's attention and concentration. Problems finding the right words, processing new information, paying attention, and concentrating can be an AED side effect. Fortunately, that's one of the things that also comes with epilepsy. This can make it harder to encode and remember information. Some AEDs might also affect a person's motivation, energy levels, or mood. I used to fall asleep at 1, 2 o'clock every day if I was not at work. I couldn't keep my eyes open if you paid me. Sometimes these side effects will go away as you adjust to the AED. However, it is important to bring to the attention of your doctor any side effects that last longer or are causing you any concerns. Like I said, we used to bring them my concerns, and they would up my dose. Interactions. Drug interactions can happen between different AEDs, between AEDs and other types of drugs, including non-prescription or over-the-counter ones. The complementary and herbal remedies, stuff like that, all of them, they all can have their side effects. So if you don't read those packets, you're not going to know. And sometimes the herbal stuff, they're not going to tell you, because they're not FDA approved for anything. So they don't test it. So they don't know whether, if you're drinking some weird tea, that it's going to stop making your medicine work. They don't care. Once it gets into your body, they've already made the money. So because of this, it is important to let your doctor or pharmacist know that you are taking AEDs before starting any other prescription or non-prescription drugs. Alcohol can also affect how well an AED works and can make you feel more sedated as well. For some people, drinking alcohol can also trigger seizures. So if you are living with epilepsy, it is a good idea to avoid or limit your alcohol consumption. General medications. Every medication has a brand name given by the pharmaceutical company that markets the drug, and a generic name, which is the drug's active ingredient. In recent years, some AEDs have become available in generic form in Australia. You might have even had a pharmacist ask, would you like the generic version of this medication? While the generic ones have the same active ingredients as the branded ones, it is not recommended that you switch from a branded to a generic version. Some people who have switched from the branded AED to a generic have experienced breakthrough seizures, increased seizures, or new side effects. So unless you receive approval from your doctor, the best advice is to continue taking the branded AED prescribed for you. That is just like I had discussed earlier. That's not information I came up with. That's right there on the Epilepsy Foundation website. AED effect on driving and machine use. Some AEDs can cause drowsiness, sleepiness, and slowed reaction times, especially when medication is being introduced or a dose is increased. You may even have seen a label placed on your medication pack alerting you to this risk. So always ask your doctor if it's safe to drive or use heavy machinery while taking your AED. AEDs and osteoporosis. Now, I'm male, so I don't really have as much of a thought about this, but I know quite a few women that struggle with osteoporosis and epilepsy. So AEDs can contribute to osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a condition of decreased bone strength, thinning of the bones, which can increase the risk of breaking a bone, particularly as you age. Your doctor may refer you for a bone density test if you are likely to be taking AEDs for an extended period of time. It may also be worthwhile considering taking vitamin D supplement to help you with your bone health. If you are concerned about this or want to learn more, have a chat with your doctor. Right there, that line right there, information line. You want to call and get some information, never be afraid to call. You got a question,
people miss today.
you got a question, send it there. They answer. You want to be part of the newsletter, they'll send you stuff all the time. And I tell you what, the Epilepsy Foundation, they're very beneficial. They have all kinds of information about every topic, about all topics. It's not some of it. They cover everything, and it changes. It's updated a lot. The articles, it's all through there all the time. So if you're interested in getting some more information, never be afraid of their website. It's a fantastic website. So I see. I have a few people. Few people showed up tonight. I was hoping to hear a few people come in and try and tell some stories and stuff. But like I said, it takes time. It may take time. We'll see how things go. We just need a couple people to step up and show people how it's done. I really do. Every time I see somebody drop a poem over in one of those support groups, I'm like, hey, please come share that with us. Share it with us. Read it out loud. Say it. Perform it. I'm excited to try and get some of these people on, because some of these people are so talented, and it shocks me that they got like one song about their epilepsy or one poem, and they're beautiful people. This guy the other day posted a link to his art, and his art is based off of his epilepsy, and it was like the brain was shooting out the side, and all the neurological stuff was just going nuts. And it said in the description for the art, it was like, how do you feel daily? Or how would you explain how you feel daily as an epileptic? And it just showed the head exploding with everything around you, just oversensitizing you, just way too sensitive to everything. Excuse me. And nailed it. I mean, the art nailed it. As an epileptic, I could show that to somebody who's not an epileptic, and they would probably be, oh, that's a cool looking picture. But as an epileptic, it was mind blowing. It meant a lot to me. Probably to anybody else, it wouldn't have meant jack shit. But it was so beautiful and so meaningful to me. And I sat and I looked at that picture for a good 5 minutes. He had other art too, and it was also beautiful. It was amazing. He had incredible art. But that one in particular really hit me. Really made me feel something. I want more of that. I want to feel the emotions that everybody else feels. I want to be there for everybody's emotions. Just to say good job. I'm glad you tried. I'm glad you're part of it. So don't be afraid. If you got a story, got a song, got a poem, bring it. Because I don't want it to be just me talking about the downsides to epilepsy. Because we have our upsides too. As epileptics, you want to talk about people who can get through some shit? Yeah, we can. We put up with shit every day. We deal with things that people don't even realize we're dealing with. And guess what? We make it. Why? Because we learn how to overcome. This is a step I'm taking to overcome. I couldn't stop having seizures. I'm a contractor. I can't climb on roofs if I can't stop having seizures. And I have to literally lay over the top of the roof, lay my body over the ridge of the roof or up against the chimney so I don't fall off. I can't do that. That's just terrifying. I got kids. I got a wife. I got a family. I got priorities. It's terrifying. So this is what I'm trying. If anybody wants to help donate, there are going to be expenses. I mean, I don't want to ask anybody for money. I don't want people to pay my bills. I would love help though. If anybody feels compelled, we could use all the help to pay for like the stream costs. Just pens and papers when we need them. We can't do this without the internet. So it would be nice to be able to try and pay some of the internet bill and stuff. And it's not just mine. It's like, I'm part of a network. I'm part of the Fearlessly Authentic network. And there's some amazing people too. And they also need some help. So if at any point in time you feel compelled to reach out to us and share $1, I don't care. I'm not asking to have you make me rich. That's not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this so I can help people. But the only way we can do that is if we can keep the lights on. So feel free to donate. I appreciate anybody who came tonight, anybody who stops by later and listens and gives it a shot. I hope you can gain something from this. I really see a lot of potential for beauty in this world. And unfortunately, this is something that holds it up for me. So if I can just keep bringing a positive attitude, try and help people smile, bring some good information, be here for people when they need it, provide a comforting voice, I'm here for you. I'm here. So bring it on, y'all. So tonight, gonna end with a little song, a little ditty. And I want to make sure I find it real quick. Let's see if I can find it. It's, like I said, me and the Steve we like making silly stuff. I mean, realistically, we really enjoy making this silly stuff. I can't get enough of it myself. I gotta find this one though. I know it's not on the YouTube feed, so give me one moment here. I apologize. I should have pulled it up as I was sitting here yakety yakking, but let's see here. Boop. Boop. Jabop. And it's silly. I don't even know if we even really finished. It's just a silly song that we did. So I mean, Steve, the sweetheart that he is, he's the light side, and I'm the dark side. Surprise. Hey, thank you everybody for coming. This has been Drizzle's Tank. And what do you know? You're not alone. I'm right here. Have a great week, everybody.
Inside is a light that is always shining, while the fat old sun always keeps on climbing. Woodwind sings, crackling and chiming, and refining, always redesigning and climbing, and the light inside keeps shining. Keep shining. light inside. Be your guide. Let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Oh, let it shine. Hey, hey.
The
Oh,
darkness
let it shine.
arrives,
Let it
blocking
shine,
the
shine,
light,
shine.
creating
Oh,
a
let it
blindness
shine. Inside
for
is
your
a light that
mind.
is always shining.
No
While the
time
fat old
for
sun always
tears.
keeps on climbing. Woodwind
I am
sings,
your
crackling
fear.
and chiming.
I've
Crackling and
come to
chiming.
collect you for
Crackling
the
and
journey
chiming.
through a river of sadness. The darkness arrives, blocking the light, creating a blindness for your demise. No time for fear. I am your fear. I've come to collect you for the journey to a river of sadness. No light can escape darkness. Sorrow. You want to avoid this path where the end you meet my wrath. A painful display of carnage, a dejection unable to be harnessed. I am the darkness. I am the darkness. No light can escape. 'Cause I am the darkness. Good night.